Welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into the shocking stories of celebrities who fell from fame to felony. These once adored stars had everything: wealth, success, and devoted fans. But now they're facing a harsh reality behind bars. What led to their downfall? How did their choices shatter their careers? And what's next for them? Stay tuned as we expose the truth. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more captivating content. Let's get started. In October 2009, former MMA fighter Jonathan "War Machine" Copenhaver gained public attention for his relationship with adult film star Christy Mack. But his career and personal life soon unraveled as violence became a recurring pattern. In 2010, he was sentenced to 1 year in prison for assault, a troubling sign of what was to come after his release. He spiraled further upon discovering that Mack had moved on with a new partner. Corey Thomas, consumed by jealousy, he launched a brutal attack on August 8, 2014, leaving Mack with horrific injuries that shocked the public and reignited discussions about domestic violence. His trial ended in multiple convictions, including kidnapping, resulting in a life sentence with the possibility of parole after 36 years. War Machine's descent from MMA stardom to a life behind bars serves as a grim reminder of the irreversible consequences of unchecked violence and abuse. Ian Watkins, the former frontman of the Welsh band Lost Prophets, shattered the trust of his fans and the music world when he was arrested in late 2012 on horrifying child exploitation charges, once seen as a rebellious rock icon, admired by young listeners. His shocking crimes exposed a dark and twisted reality no one saw coming. His conviction sent waves of disgust and disbelief through the industry, permanently tarnishing his legacy and erasing Lost Prophets from music history. What was once a celebrated career ended in disgrace, leaving behind a chilling reminder that even the most admired figures can hide unthinkable secrets. At first, both fans and bandmates stood by Ian Watkins, struggling to believe the severity of the accusations. But as the harrowing details of his crimes emerged, their support crumbled. The evidence presented in court was among the most disturbing ever encountered by law enforcement, exposing the true extent of his depravity. In the end, Watkins pleaded guilty to a series of heinous charges, including possession of illegal materials, seemingly to avoid a full trial and spare the jury from the horrifying details. His guilty plea erased any lingering doubt. Once a celebrated rock star, he was now forever marked as a predator. His name synonymous with one of the most shocking scandals in music history. Ian Watkins was sentenced to 29 years in prison, with an additional 6 years of supervised release. Since being incarcerated, his health and appearance have deteriorated so drastically that he is nearly unrecognizable, while a handful of loyal fans and former friends still visit him. His once prominent reputation as a musician has been permanently destroyed. Joe Sun, best known for his small role in Austin Powers' International Man of Mystery, became infamous for far more disturbing reasons. His life took a dark turn when he was convicted of horrific crimes, including torture and sexual assault. In 2011, he was sentenced for the brutal assault of a woman in Huntington Beach, a case that remained unsolved for years until DNA evidence tied him to the crime. His violent streak didn't end there. While in prison, he was convicted of manslaughter for killing his cellmate Michael Graham. What started as a minor Hollywood career ended in disgrace, leaving Sun to spend the rest of his life behind bars. Joe Sun's criminal history dates back to 1990, when he committed a horrifying crime on Christmas Eve, kidnapping, sexually assaulting, and terrorizing a woman in a brutal attack. For years, he escaped justice until DNA evidence finally connected him to the crime. After a felony vandalism conviction despite a brief stint in Hollywood, his violent past quickly overshadowed any trace of a career. His pattern of aggression continued in prison, where he was convicted of killing his cellmate. Ultimately, Joe Son spent his final years behind bars, a grim reminder that a life of crime leads only to destruction, leaving behind a legacy marked by violence and tragedy. Kalen Rashad. Walker's case is a chilling reminder of how social media influence can be weaponized for predatory purposes, portraying himself as a charismatic and trustworthy figure. He lured vulnerable young women with promises of mentorship and opportunity, but behind the facade, he engaged in manipulative and abusive behavior, using his fame to exploit those who admired him. His downfall reveals the dark side of online influence, serving as a stark warning about the dangers of misplaced trust and the devastating consequences of manipulation in the digital age. Kalen Rashad Walker's 50-year prison sentence stands as a major victory for justice, proving that no level of fame or influence can shield predators from accountability. His conviction underscores the importance of protecting vulnerable individuals and amplifying the voices of survivors. This case serves as a powerful reminder that the legal system must stay firm in holding offenders responsible, ensuring that those who exploit their power face the full consequences of their actions. Todd and Julie Chrisley, once the faces of luxury and family drama on Chrisley Knows Best, saw their lavish empire crumble in 2019, when they were indicted on serious financial crimes accused of orchestrating a complex scheme of tax evasion, bank fraud, and wire fraud. Prosecutors revealed they had dodged nearly $2 million in state taxes, concealed over $1 million in reality TV earnings from the IRS, and falsified financial documents to secure fraudulent loans. What was once a glamorous life of wealth and fame quickly spiraled into a high-profile legal battle that shattered their carefully crafted image. Despite repeatedly claiming their innocence, Todd and Julie Chrisley were ultimately held accountable for their financial crimes in court. During the trial, prosecutors revealed how they inflated their wealth to secure massive loans, falsified financial documents, and borrowed over $30 million to fund their extravagant lifestyle, while evading taxes. After nearly 3 weeks of testimony, both were convicted on multiple charges, including conspiracy to commit bank fraud, wire fraud, and tax evasion, with Julie also found guilty of additional wire fraud offenses. Their sentencing was severe. Todd received 12 years in federal prison while Julie was sentenced to 7 years. Todd is currently serving time at FCI Pensacola in Florida, while Julie remains incarcerated at a separate federal facility, marking their dramatic fall from reality TV royalty to federal inmates. Adidja Palmer, better known as Vybz Kartel, was once a powerhouse in reggae and dancehall, captivating audiences worldwide with his music. But his career took a dark turn in 2011 when he was implicated in the brutal murder of Clive Lizard Williams, allegedly over a dispute involving a missing firearm, unlike many celebrity scandals. Kartel's case wasn't about a misunderstanding or a momentary lapse in judgment. It was a chilling descent into organized crime. His conviction and life sentence became one of the most shocking downfalls in music history, casting a long shadow over his once thriving career. On December 29, 2011, Vybz Kartel was arrested on charges of drug possession and illegal firearms While he was granted bail for these offenses, his legal troubles escalated when he was accused of orchestrating the murder of Clive Lizard Williams. The case faced repeated delays, with jury selection alone stretching over 3 years. When the trial finally began, it lasted 65 days, one of the longest in Jamaica's history. On November 18, 2013, Cartel was found guilty and sentenced to life in prison with a minimum of 32 years and 6 months before he could be considered for parole. If no reductions are granted, he won't be eligible for release until 2046, leaving his once thriving career indefinitely suspended behind bars. R. Kelly's legal troubles stretch back to the 1990s, but it wasn't until 2021 that he was formally convicted. Once one of the biggest names in R&B, his career became overshadowed by serious charges including human trafficking and sexual abuse. His disturbing history first gained public attention in 1994 when he was accused of illegally marrying underage singer Aaliyah by allegedly falsifying her birth certificate. Despite years of allegations, he continued to thrive in the music industry until mounting evidence and testimonies finally led to his downfall, resulting in a lengthy prison sentence that marked the end of his once illustrious career. Over the years, more disturbing allegations against R. Kelly emerged, revealing a grim pattern of predatory behavior. In 1996, he was accused of physically harming a woman, and by 2002, leaked videos allegedly showing his abuse of minors sparked widespread outrage. Authorities even confiscated a camera containing explicit images, further fueling suspicions. But despite mounting evidence, legal loopholes and lack of definitive proof led to the dismissal of these charges, allowing him to continue his career unchecked for years before justice finally caught up with him. But the case didn't stop. There, shocking revelations surfaced that R. Kelly had allegedly held multiple women captive in a toxic and abusive environment, controlling every aspect of their lives. As these horrifying details came to light, more survivors stepped forward with accusations of sexual, physical, and emotional abuse. Their courage in speaking out helped bring him to justice in June 2022. R. Kelly was sentenced to 30 years in prison, marking a long overdue reckoning for years of predatory behavior that had gone unpunished for far too long. Anon Singleton, better known as Big Lurch, gained recognition in the late 1990s, but his career never reached the success he had envisioned after his debut album failed to make an impact. Tragedy struck when he was hit by a drunk driver, leaving him with a broken neck. The intense pain combined with struggles in the music industry led him to self-medicate with PCP, but his drug use spiraled into a dangerous addiction as his dependency deepened. He stopped eating and drinking, consumed by hallucinations and paranoia that would ultimately drive him to commit an unthinkable act. Under the grip of severe PCP-induced hallucinations, Big Lurch became convinced his 21-year-old female roommate was possessed by demons, standing at 6.7. He easily overpowered her in a frenzied attack, committing an act of unimaginable violence when authorities found him. He was wandering the streets covered in blood, completely detached from reality. The gruesome nature of the crime shocked the public, and despite his clear drug-induced psychosis, he was denied an insanity plea due to his voluntary substance use. In November 2003, he was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. His rap career forever overshadowed by one of the most horrifying crimes in hip-hop history. Before Young Thug rose to fame with hits like Pick Up the Phone and Lifestyle, he was allegedly involved in gang-related activities dating back to 2013. On May 9, 2022, his past caught up with him when he was arrested on sweeping charges of conspiracy and organized crime. A staggering 56 charges were filed, many carrying severe consequences. Among them, one of the most damning accusations ties him to the rental of an Infiniti Q50 sedan, later used in the murder of rival gang member Donovan Thomas Jr. His arrest sent shockwaves through the music industry, turning his once glamorous lifestyle into a high-stakes legal battle that could determine his future. Beyond the conspiracy and gang-related charges, Young Thug's legal troubles worsened after a police raid on his home. Authorities found a stash of controlled substances, leading to additional charges for possession with intent to distribute. The raid also uncovered an arsenal of weapons, including sawed-off shotguns and rifles, further strengthening claims of his ties to organized crime as a known affiliate of the YSL street gang. He wasn't alone. 27 other alleged members were also indicted in a sweeping RICO case currently in custody. Young Thug is awaiting trial, which was scheduled to begin on January 9, 2023. If convicted, he faces up to 20 years in prison, a stark contrast to the luxurious lifestyle he once flaunted in the rap industry. Austin Jones built a following on YouTube with his vocal covers and original songs, amassing over 500,000 subscribers and millions of views, but his career took a dark turn when allegations of inappropriate behavior surfaced in 2015. He abruptly pulled out of the Vans Warped Tour and released a video expressing regret. But downplaying the accusations, the situation escalated in June 2017 when authorities executed a search warrant at his home and arrested him at O'Hare International Airport. The investigation uncovered shocking details, including efforts by multiple individuals to shield him from accountability. On May 3, 2019. Jones was sentenced to 10 years in federal prison, and his YouTube channel was permanently removed, marking a disgraceful end to his once promising career. Zara Fithian, 39, and her husband, Victor Mark, 59, faced a highly publicized trial at Nottingham Crown Court in the UK, where they were convicted on 14 counts of sexual abuse. Their crimes, spanning from 2005 to 2008, targeted a minor who later came forward with harrowing testimony. According to the BBC, the victim, referred to as described years of coercion, threats, and psychological manipulation that left her feeling trapped and powerless despite their public personas. The couple's disturbing actions were finally exposed, leading to their conviction and a harsh reckoning for their crimes. Additionally, Victor Mark faces 4 more charges after another woman accused him of sexual abuse between 2002 and 2003 when she was still a minor senior investigation officer. Parander Dillon praised the bravery of both victims in coming forward and expressed hope that the sentencing would bring them some measure of justice. He also emphasized that this case serves as a stark warning, reinforcing that no one is above the law, and that perpetrators of such crimes will be held accountable regardless of their status or reputation. Toby Willis, the patriarch of the Willis clan, gained fame as the leader of the musically talented family featured on TLC's The Willis Family with his 12 children. He captivated audiences, earning national recognition and even reaching the quarterfinals of America's Got Talent in 2014. Their wholesome image and musical talent made them fan favorites, but beneath the surface, a disturbing reality lurked behind the scenes. Willis was hiding a dark secret that would ultimately destroy the family's public image and lead to his shocking downfall. But beneath the wholesome, picture-perfect image of the Willis clan lay a horrifying truth, one that would ultimately shatter their reputation and leave a lasting scar on the family behind closed doors. Toby Willis was secretly committing unspeakable crimes, preying on underage victims, including members of his own family. The same man who led a beloved musical group was hiding a dark, predatory nature, turning what seemed like a loving and united household into the backdrop of unimaginable suffering. This heartbreaking truth surfaced in 2016 when a brave victim came forward and reported the abuse to authorities. Toby Willis was arrested, and even more disturbing details emerged in 2017. He pleaded guilty to 4 counts of sexual abuse of a minor, permanently destroying the image he had built in the public eye. He was sentenced to 40 years in prison without the possibility of parole and ordered to pay $14 million to his victims. Additionally, he was required to register as a sex offender for life. The repercussions of his heinous crimes sent shockwaves through his entire family. Bill Cosby, once celebrated as America's dad for his iconic role on The Cosby Show, saw his career and reputation crumble in a historic and dramatic downfall. His conviction became a landmark moment in the Me Too movement, making him the first high-profile celebrity sentenced for sexual assault. Presiding Judge Stephen O'Neill in Montgomery County, Pennsylvania, emphasized the importance of holding influential figures accountable, delivering a sentence that reflected a broader cultural shift toward justice and accountability. Cosby's once untouchable legacy was permanently stained, marking one of the most shocking falls from grace in entertainment history. Bill Cosby, once hailed as America's dad for his iconic role in The Cosby Show, faced a shocking fall from grace, becoming the first major celebrity of the Me Too movement to receive a prison sentence for sexual assault. Judge Stephen O'Neill, who oversaw the case at the Montgomery County Courthouse in Norristown, Pennsylvania, delivered the verdict with a sense of deep seriousness, stressing that it was time for justice to be served. Though Cosby showed little emotion as the sentence was handed down, later reports suggested he remained surprisingly composed at times, even smiling and chatting with his legal team given the chance to speak. Before sentencing, he chose to remain silent, letting his actions speak louder than his words. Yet his case continues to echo in courtrooms and public discourse, serving as a powerful reminder that neither fame nor fortune can shield anyone from accountability. For years, Zach Avery crafted an illusion of success, convincing high-profile investors that he was on the verge of sealing multi-million-dollar movie deals with industry giants like Netflix and HBO. With carefully constructed lies and a seemingly credible front, he gained their trust and swindled millions using his charm as a weapon of deception. But when the truth unraveled, investors realized they had been drawn into an elaborate fraud built on false promises and non-existent opportunities. Once an aspiring actor, Avery's name became synonymous with one of Hollywood's biggest scams, and in the end, his fraudulent empire collapsed, leading to his dramatic downfall and a well-deserved prison sentence. In reality, Zach Avery was orchestrating an intricate Ponzi scheme using funds from new investors to pay off old debts. While weaving an elaborate web of lies, his fraudulent operation eventually crumbled. Exposing the full extent of his deception, sentenced to 20 years in prison and ordered to repay over $230 million to his victims. His downfall was swift and unforgiving. Once a Hollywood hopeful, he became a convicted con artist, serving as a stark warning about the dangers of chasing success through deception. His story remains a cautionary tale reminding the entertainment industry, and beyond that, true success must be built on integrity, not illusion. Bobby Shmurda. Like many rappers, used his music to depict street life, but what set him apart was that his lyrics weren't just storytelling. They reflected his real-life involvement in crime in 2014. At just 20 years old, he skyrocketed to fame with his breakout single Hot Nigga, which reached number 6 on the Billboard Hot 100. With his signature energy and viral dance moves, he seemed destined for rap superstardom. But just as his career was taking off, his past caught up with him, and the rising star found himself entangled in a legal battle that would derail his promising future. In 2014, Bobby Shmurda's rapid rise in the rap world came to a sudden halt as he became entangled in serious legal troubles. In June, he was arrested for weapon possession after police found a gun in a friend's apartment. But things took a darker turn in December when he was arrested again, this time facing conspiracy to commit murder charges tying him to violent gang activity. As the investigation unfolded, his situation worsened when he was caught trying to smuggle a knife into Rikers Island, further hurting his chances of a swift resolution. What once seemed like a promising career was now overshadowed by a legal battle that threatened to end his music journey before it had truly begun. By September 2016, overwhelmed by mounting charges, Bobby Shmurda accepted a plea deal admitting to third-degree conspiracy to commit murder and weapon possession, initially sentenced to 7 years. His troubles worsened when a homemade knife was found in his cell, extending his sentence to 11 years. His fall from a rising rap star to a convicted inmate became a stark, cautionary tale within the hip-hop community, serving as a harsh reminder of how reckless choices and real-life ties to street crime can derail even the most promising careers. Danny Masterson's career followed the familiar arc of Hollywood highs and devastating lows. Born in Long Island, New York in 1976, he became a household name as Stephen Hyde on That 70s Show, winning over audiences with his laid-back, rebellious persona. But behind the scenes, a much darker reality was unfolding. By the mid-2010s, serious allegations of sexual assault surfaced, casting a shadow over his once thriving career. The biggest blow came in June 2020 when he was formally charged with 3 counts of sexual assault, marking the start of a legal battle that would ultimately redefine his legacy. Danny Masterson's legal battle cast a permanent shadow over his personal and professional life. The fallout was immediate. His talent agency cut ties, and the industry that once embraced him quickly distanced itself by 2023. At 47 years old, Masterson faced a grim reality as his future hung in the balance. His trial became a focal point in ongoing discussions about power, accountability, and justice in Hollywood. With his fate sealed by the courts ruling, the outcome not only determined his personal future but also cemented his legacy as a cautionary tale of how quickly success can unravel when confronted with serious allegations. Harvey Weinstein, the disgraced film producer whose actions helped ignite the Me Too movement, received an additional 16-year sentence in Los Angeles, to be served alongside the 23-year sentence he is already serving in New York for sexual abuse and assault. In December 2022, a Los Angeles jury found him guilty of molesting and sexually assaulting a woman known as Jane Doe. Her emotional testimony highlighted the lasting trauma he inflicted, emphasizing that while justice was served, no sentence could ever truly erase the harm he caused. Weinstein's downfall remains one of the most defining reckonings in Hollywood history, marking a shift in how power and accountability are viewed in the entertainment industry. Throughout the trial, Weinstein's defense team resorted to desperate tactics, attempting to discredit his victims through sexist rhetoric and character attacks. They even targeted Jennifer Siebel Newsom, an actress, and the wife of California Governor Gavin Newsom, dismissing her as a shallow woman in a blatant effort to undermine the Me Too movement. Despite Weinstein's pleas for leniency, portraying himself as a frail 70-year-old in poor health, and citing his past contributions to the film industry, the court remained firm, upholding his 16-year sentence. This verdict not only provided a measure of justice for the survivors, but also sent a powerful message against systemic abuse, reinforcing that no level of influence or power can shield perpetrators from accountability. Ryan Grantham, a 24-year-old actor known for his roles in television and film, shocked the world in 2020 with a horrifying crime that destroyed his future. He pleaded guilty to second-degree murder for the brutal killing of his mother, Barbara Waite, and was sentenced to life in prison with no chance of parole for 14 years during his June trial in Vancouver. Chilling details emerged. Grantham shot his 64-year-old mother in the back of the head while she played the piano on March 31, 2020. Even more disturbing, he filmed a video confession and later attempted to cover up the crime. His case became one of the most shocking celebrity crimes in recent years, marking a tragic and unsettling turn in his once promising career. The shocking story didn't end with the murder after killing his mother. Ryan Grantham packed his car with 3 guns, ammunition, 12 Molotov cocktails, and camping gear, planning to assassinate Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. But before carrying out the attack, he had a change of heart and turned himself in to Vancouver. Police presiding judge Kathleen Kerr called his decision to abandon the plan. His saving grace psychiatric evaluations revealed Grantham had been struggling with severe depression, self-loathing, and suicidal thoughts leading up to the crime. According to CBC, the court determined he murdered his mother not out of malice, but because he believed he was sparing her from witnessing the violent path he had set for himself. His case remains one of the most disturbing celebrity crimes in recent history, a chilling reminder of the devastating consequences of unchecked mental health struggles and despair. Tay-K, once a rising force in hip-hop, saw his career crash just as fast as it soared in 2017, his breakout hit. The race shot up the Billboard Hot 100, making him an overnight sensation. But behind the music was a shocking truth. The very day the song dropped, he was already a fugitive wanted for his role in a violent robbery that left one person dead after months on the run. Authorities caught him, and he was later sentenced to 55 years in prison. What could have been a bright future in music was eclipsed by crime, making his story one of hip-hop's most tragic downfalls. In 2016, Tay-K was involved in a deadly home invasion that took the life of Ethan Walker. What began as a robbery targeting a drug dealer quickly turned into a tragedy, placed under house arrest. Tay-K made a daring escape, cutting off his ankle monitor and going on the run. He even taunted law enforcement on social media, turning his fugitive status into a spectacle. During his 3 months on the run, he released The Race, a track that went viral, but his defiance only sealed his fate. He was eventually caught, leading to a long legal battle and a 55-year prison sentence, ending what could have been a groundbreaking music career. While on the run, Tay-K's troubles deepened when he was linked to another violent crime, a deadly robbery outside a Chick-fil-A in Texas. As if that wasn't enough, he also attacked and robbed a 65-year-old man who later identified him to authorities. These additional charges only worsened his situation, sealing his fate even further. Since his 2017 arrest, he has remained behind bars, facing at least 27.5 years before he's even eligible for parole. What started as a meteoric rise in hip-hop became one of the most infamous downfalls in rap history. At first, both fans and bandmates stood by Ian Watkins, struggling to believe the severity of the accusations. But as the harrowing details of his crimes emerged, their support collapsed. The evidence presented in court was among the most disturbing ever encountered by law enforcement, exposing the full extent of his depravity. In the end, Watkins pleaded guilty to a series of heinous charges, including possession of illegal materials, seemingly to avoid a full trial and spare the jury from the horrifying details. His guilty plea erased any lingering doubt. Once a celebrated rock star, he was now forever marked as a predator, his name forever tied to one of the most shocking scandals in music history. Arrested in 1983, Jim Gordon was eventually diagnosed with schizophrenia, revealing the deep mental torment he had silently endured for years, though initially sentenced to 16 years in prison. His ongoing struggles and the perceived risk he posed to society led to repeated parole denials, keeping him incarcerated indefinitely. His tragic story highlights the devastating consequences of untreated mental illness and the failures of a system that misdiagnosed and overlooked his suffering. While his musical contributions remain undeniable, Gordon's life stands as a stark reminder of the hidden battles many face and the urgent need for better mental health awareness and support. The murder case of C. Murder dominated headlines in 2003 when the rapper was arrested for the killing of 16-year-old Stephen Thomas Corey Miller, known professionally as C. Murder, has consistently maintained his innocence, arguing that the case was built on flawed evidence. The incident stemmed from a 2002 nightclub altercation where a rap battle turned violent after Thomas accidentally clashed with a member of C. Murder's entourage. The situation quickly escalated, ending in tragedy. Years later, controversy reignited when 2 key witnesses came forward claiming they had been pressured by law enforcement to identify C. Murder as the shooter. These revelations have fueled ongoing debates about the fairness of his trial and the possibility of a wrongful conviction. Darnell Jordan, a security guard at the scene, later revealed that he was arrested and pressured into testifying against C. Murder, raising serious concerns about the integrity of the case. In 2020, Kim Kardashian became a vocal advocate for his release, working to expose flaws in the conviction and push for justice, despite her relentless efforts. C. Murder remains behind bars, serving a life sentence. His only path to freedom lies in uncovering new, irrefutable evidence that not only clears his name but also identifies the true perpetrator of the crime that occurred that tragic night. Thanks for watching. The downfall of these celebrities is a stark reminder that fame and fortune can vanish in an instant due to poor decisions. We hope this video gave you a deeper insight into the reality behind these fallen stars. If you found it interesting, Don't forget to like, comment, and share with others. Make sure to subscribe so you never miss our latest content. See you in the next one.